Alright, first I'm going to show you the difference between a decal and a stencil and what you bought. The decal is going to come already like this, ready to go. I'm sorry, my camera's backwards. I tried to figure it out. I'm just totally not illiterate when it comes to phone stuff. But if you order a decal, it'll already come with the transfer paper already on there, so you can skip that step. You did order the stencil, which is, obviously comes black with that, but it's really easy to, you can use this as a decal. The only difference is people prefer, a lot of people that order the stencils prefer this method because you can either weed it one way or the other, which I'll show you that in a minute. And they usually order these when they're using for like paint stencils, painting, customizing shoes or plates or anything like that, shirts, whatever. So when you got your stencil, all you have to do is peel this off and leave the letters behind. That's one way you can do it. You want some little like weeding tools with you. I have this is a weeding pen. All it is a needle, so you can get a needle and stick it in a cork or just use a needle, whatever, to help you weed your thing. And then if you have a pair of, just bathroom tweezers will work fine. But you just catch the end of it down here with your fingers or with your weeding tool, whatever, and you just peel it back. And as you're peeling it back, you want to look and make sure you're not pulling any of the letters up, of course. You want those to stay behind. So that's all you do on that part. So with this little thing you got here, this is the transfer paper, which is just contact, your kitchen contact paper. So if you ever mess something up, you can go get some more. I use the duct tape brand because it works really good for your decals. Before you put the transfer paper on, of course, you want to weed out that middle of that A right there, okay? So you just take your little needle and just pull it out, so you're ready to put your transfer paper on. And then you put the transfer paper on. I just grab a corner, rip a corner off. Make sure you throw that corner away off, because if it sticks to your hand, because you got static cling in this, it'll get stuck behind your transfer paper, and then you'll have to pull that off, and that can become a pain. So you just pull that off. There's your transfer paper. Here's your, freshly made decal. And you just put this over the top of it. It's kind of like laminating it, so that's what it'll look like. And then if you have a credit card, you can usually do it with your fingers. With the one I sent you, you should be able to do it with your fingers. But if you ever order any designs that are like really super tiny, it's helpful to have a credit card. And I don't know what I did with mine, but credit card or some kind of sharp edge that you could scrape over it to help, make it stick to the back. But for what I sent you, your fingers should just be fine. But you want to give it a good push to help it stick, because you do want it to stick. So it's on there now, and all you do is peel it back, and then now you want your letters to be on the clear transfer paper. See, so now it should look like that. So to put it on your item, I'm assuming maybe you're putting it on a glass since your transfer, or since your decal says water. You want to get some alcohol. You don't have to use alcohol, but you do want to make sure your surface is clean. So I use alcohol. And it may be a glass or whatever you bought straight from the store. You don't know how many people has touched it. It's going to have fingerprints on it, so you do want to make sure your area is nice and clean. And then you want to make sure it's completely dry. And alcohol dries pretty quick. And there's like hardly no waiting time. And I usually put this down on my lap to help stabilize, but since we need to get you on the camera, I'm going to go and try and do it this way. So when you put your thing on your thing, you can either start from one end or the other, but it's best to start from the middle. And what I do is line up the edges of my letters, not the transfer tape. You want to line up the edge of your letters and just put a crease in it. Any crease that's in your letters or anything, it's not gonna show up on your whatever you're putting it on. So you'll see a crease in there. And then of course you want to measure your glass and do all that, but we don't have. I don't want to mess with all that because it takes time to get it perfect. So this is just for demonstration purposes. So we're going to start in the middle and then push out. Alright, now it's on there, right? So you just don't want to take and rip it off. So here's some techniques you want to use. You want to rub that down. See, it's not even on there straight. You want to rub that down, just like you did when you put your transfer paper on. Give it a good rub after it's on your clean surface. Give it a really good rub to get it stick. Okay, now I didn't do much rubbing there. Sometimes you might have to do more rubbing with more intricate stuff. Got vinyl stuck on my finger. And then all you do is peel it back. Now, here's the trick. Because a lot of people start pulling up and then their letters start coming up. It didn't do this time because I gave you a good rub. A lot of people, depending on what surface you're putting it on or depending on what kind of vinyl you're using, some vinyls are tougher. Like if you get the chrome vinyl, it's really hard to work with. So all the techniques is in the rubbing and the pressure. So instead of pulling up like that, you would pull up a little bit and pull back on your thing, and you're doing like a rolling motion. See how I'm squeezing my fingers up against my product? You know, it's easier if it's in your lap, but just roll it back. And then what you don't want to do is make sure you don't get it, it's not a big deal on this project because it's just one row, but sometimes someone has like rows of words and sometimes they don't cut them in half like I normally do. But, or if you have other words on here that you don't want to get stuck up, try not to keep rolling this backward so it's in like a Tootsie Roll, and it's going to get stuck on the letters that you already have on there, and it's going to come off. You don't want that. So try and keep the whole thing flat. So when I say rolling, I'm not saying roll it up. I'm saying pull it back and roll it off the mug. See how the paper is not rolling? It's just flat. But you just call this the rolling method. And you just keep on going and it comes right off. I mean, this has got a good seal. I could probably pull it off like this, no problem. But this is a good technique to use if you're having, you know, trouble pulling it off. And it's just real simple. Okay, there you go. All right, I hope this helps you out.